People have not been to a BI Power Hour session. Awesome, awesome. Okay, I am going to spend a lot of time on this slide. Okay, this is extremely, let me emphasize, extremely important. I cannot guarantee you will learn anything in this session. Okay? What I can guarantee you is we will have a variety of demos. These are my demoers, right? Thank you. And we will do our best to entertain you. You can think of me as the MC, right? The rule for BI Power Hour is this. They're going to do some demos. They have told me nothing about the demo, right? So I'm going to see it for the first time as much as you are. One of them even gave me a script, right? So I'm super excited to see how that one's going to go. The goal for me, and I'm going to really try to do this, is to, depending on what they show or how they show it, is to translate that into how you can actually do something or a best practice, or at least tease out a best practice that you can use when you go back into the real world, right? And, well, we're just going to do a bunch of demos. That's literally the session. Now, I'm going to ask you for a show of hands and go, is this okay? Because the alternative is, like, I work in the marketing department. I have got a 120 slide deck. I would be more than happy to walk you all through it. That's the alternative. All right? Your choice. Demos? Now, you may be sitting in there and going, well, why is he spending so much time talking about the agenda? Right? Well, when you go and do your evals, right, because we really want to hear your feedback, what I don't want is the expectations for the session did not meet based on what the presenter said. Right? I didn't find any of the demos worthwhile in my business. I'm telling you right now, nothing here that they do is going to maybe work when you go into the real world. But we're going to have fun, all right? But I want you to eval. Tell us how we can improve the session because it's super critical, all right? Okay. All right. So with that, let's get to the demos, right? So to our first presenter, it's Julie. Hi, Julie.
Hi, Pej.
Julie has built a demo, and the name of the demo is called The Happy Path. Right? Are we all going to be happy?
You will all be happy.
We're going to find out about happiness?
You will actually learn how to become more happy.
Fantastic. Okay, so with that, you are D. Can someone flip to D? All right, let's kick it off, Jules. Set it up.
Okay. So the happy path. Does any of you know the happy path?
No, that's why we're here.
One. Yeah. So, Pej did say you will learn nothing. It's not true. Here you will get real value. You will learn the happy path, hopefully. So I had to squeeze it all together a little bit, so it's kind of hard to see. What this is, you know, every year there's ratings out. They say they find the city that's most expensive to live in, the country that's most expensive, and they also have the happiest country. And you know what it is?
You guys have all seen those reports?
Yeah?
Yeah, okay.
And the Danes keep topping every time the Danes win.
Other than any Danes in the house?
No. You don't want to say that.
Hold on, how many?
That was too late.
How many Danes in the house? Are you guys happy?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Okay.
I can't wait to see this.
You should never have done that.
All right. We got 3, right? 3,
Okay.
I counted 3? Good.
We also have Alan.
Hey.
So, just to set the path. So, I happen to live in Denmark, and I can tell you, they're not all smiling. So I had to go through some analysis and figure out what is it that actually makes this happiness so high compared to other countries. I know there's formal ratings for how they arrive at it, but I'm in BI when I want to do my own analysis. So I'll take you through that. I'll look at the outliers and build this path. This one will end up with a very action-oriented, step-by-step guide for how you can go and be as happy as the Danes.
Okay, so can I ask some questions?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so
I may not answer, but you can.
That is, I get that a lot. This is in Excel.
This is in Excel.
You're using Power Pivot.
I'm definitely using Power Pivot.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Shiny new Power Pivot.
Yes, new Power Pivot.
Okay. So let's make sure we let people know what we're doing.
Okay. So, and I was getting
Especially
to that.
more for me, right?
Yes. Yeah. So what I've done is in my analysis, in my path to researching, I have found all kinds of variables, all kinds of dimensions where you could think of what makes people happy. So these are all my tables. What I've done, very practically, just copy-pasted using linked tables into a Power Pivot. So this is really, Power Pivot is really about mashing up all kinds of different data. This is so different as it can get. And luckily, with the new diagram in next release, I kind of have to use that as well. So that's very nice.
So you brought in a Power Pivot. You're linking all of the different data sources together. Maybe doing a little cleansing?
No cleansing.
No cleansing, so just raw data coming in? Okay.
Yep. So here's a table of all the ranks. This is actually how they are ranked. So the Danes are the most happy people, followed by the Swedes, the Netherlands. This is a snapshot of years. So it's not every year it's like this. So with that...
10 is extremely happy.
Yes.
We in the United States, not so happy.
Not so happy, but I assume there's a lot of Americans. You will learn something. So let's go through this.
Okay.
So first thing I've done, I pulled in, I'm cheating a little bit. I've done a little bit of this in advance. So here's the ranking. So Danes at the top. And I have found some different, I actually have lots of variables, but I had to just pick a few. I'll start with the most obvious, vacation, right? The more vacation, the more happy we are. We'll see if that actually holds true. So let me go in here. It's really hard to see, though, with this resolution. Let me just quickly do one sort. I won't be sorting all of these. I'll just be picking a few. So yes, the Danes are actually here at the top. They have much more vacation days than anybody else. Very logical, makes it happy, right? So I could keep going that. So my step number one, my advice for all of you that are not Danes would be take more vacation.
Is this like a 12-step program?
No.
Okay. I'm just like, you only got like a couple of minutes, right?
Oh, yeah, I'll go there. So with that, I can go to the next unemployment rate. I can skip it. We all know what it is. Not really worth your time. Income taxes. You would say, the less, the happier you are. We're all complaining, right? So I could add income tax, and it actually proves, I won't short it, again, to save time, but actually the Danes are the one with the highest income tax. There you go.
Hold on, I'm confused.
Yes, I know.
Hold on, you lost me. The Danes pay more in income tax, yet they're happy?
Yes.
No,
So here is the advice. So here's the advice. Pay more taxes.
I told you would not learn a thing in this session.
You will. Come on. That is actually a path. Again, I'll pick the next. I don't want to add it to the analysis. It proves that the Danes, not beaten by the Irish people, but they drink more beer than everybody else. So I can add that as well. They don't drink as much spirit, so I'll just say drink more to save time. And these are actually real data, just so you know.
You're going to make the workbook available?
No, absolutely no, because it would have my name on as the person who created it. So there you go. I have a few steps. What I now will do, you see I'm filling out a table here. I will now switch back to my Power Pivot window. Oh, I lost that one. What happens is it's a linked table, so every time I update anything, it's automatically updated in my modeling window. Ooh, that's very nice. So with this, I will go back into my Excel sheet. I'll go in here and start building my happy path. I'll just refresh this one. 1 second. There's data. Refresh. You see, it's not much of a path, but there is a path. It just have a little thingy going on, but we're getting there. I'll skip a lot of the other analysis. But, the last one I want to pull in here, though, I was really looking for the odd stuff. You're thinking, in a happy country, no suicides, right? We're all happy. Okay, you can add this on, and you would actually see that the suicide rate in Denmark is amongst the highest. This is analysis. This is not adding up.
My Danish folks are still here, right?
Yes, they're still here.
I'm just concerned.
So, obviously, I have to come to a conclusion. This is my analysis. I've spent all my time here. I can only come with one reason for this.
Power hour.
Can anybody else? Exactly. So here's, I will add it in here. I will say step number 4,
Don't die.
get rid of the, get rid of the happy people. Now I'll go back into Power Pivot. You see, automatically
Jules,
updating.
Jules.
Hold that thought. I'll be there.
No. We're recording this.
I know. But you can always opt out after the session. So now I click refresh. Let me just go and do some proper sorting here. I will do, that's actually okay. By action to take, I will remove, I may have some blanks in here. There you go. That is almost a straight path. I did miss something in here. Anyway, so there you go. There is a path to happiness. You have options. You take more vacation, you pay more taxes, you drink more, and if that is not good enough, you go get rid of the unhappy. That's it. That's how they do it. So, I'm done, almost done.
Okay.
So this is really
I was done 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. No, so this is really, I'm jumping to conclusions, obviously. So there actually are more paths in here. 2 of them I want to mention, healthcare. You'd think that's what makes us all, we all want more healthcare. It actually proves that the Danes spend less money on healthcare than everybody else, so you can also choose to spend less on healthcare. It also proves that people get married much later in life, and the divorce rate is high. So you can also think about avoiding marriage before you start getting rid of people. Now I'm done.
Thank you very much. Julie Strauss.
Let's go.
Okay. All A. So, as we get, are you guys ready to go?
There you go.
All right. So, usually what we do to get you guys all still into it, I've got some people throwing shirts, so throw shirts. How come there's no people over there throwing shirts? All right. Okay, so the next demo is actually being done by 3 folks. Jason Burns, who's from our Office BI team. We got Alan Fulton, who's from our Excel team. And Manpratap Suri, who's from our Excel services team, who I like to call the 3 amigos, and they will do a dance. Why don't you guys get set up, and let's get ready to go.
Okay.
Hey, I told you guys in the back you should sit in the front, right? You didn't listen. Yeah. Heads. All right. Where's my Dane?
Is only one left?
Yeah, I know. I don't know if this is happier. All right, guys. What are you guys doing?
Okay. We are, well, first of all, as Julie said, I'm from Denmark too. So I actually had a question for you, Julie, there, following up on your presentation. Are you one of those very unhappy people they got rid of back in Denmark, or? No.
Okay, we have more. We'll throw shorts later. Shirts too.
Okay. So the 3 amigos are going to do a combined demonstration of some of the cool stuff you can do with our technology. And
what's the demo called?
The demo is called Cola Wars, because what better when in Atlanta, Coke is from here, one of the biggest brands in the world. What better than to kind of look into that?
Yeah.
So
brought to you by.
So
Wait, Alan. When you say world, you mean US or the world?
I mean, I'm from Denmark, so I mean the world.
Okay.
I don't mean the World Championships is actually broader than than this country.
Just to be clear.
Okay.
But not the NBA version of the world, exactly. So what we're going to do is we're going to look into cola sales distributions in different states for you in a little bit. One of the things I want to mention, though, having moved to here 8 years ago from Denmark, is there's always, when you move somewhere else, there's things you miss. There's little things, whether it be friends and family, bigger things, but there's also little things like candy and stuff like that.
Suicide rates?
Suicide rates, paying more taxes and all that stuff, which are some of the reasons why I did leave.
Yeah.
No. one of the little things that I miss is actually a cola from Denmark, which I used to drink as a kid, called Jolly Cola. So what I'm going to go and look at here
The irony, he doesn't even get it.
So what I'm going to try and look at here is, how about we started importing that into the US? So before I figure out where to start, what state to start with, and how to approach the market with this new cola, I'm going to take a little look at what the situation is today. So I've got some data here from my friend Jason's stats company, which shows me the distribution of Coke and Pepsi. And that last column there, I took the liberty of labeling Jolly, because that's for all the sodas that are not Coke, that are listed there in that percentage. This particular table is not real data, in case you're wondering. The others I'm going to show you are. So it's great, I have this data, but in order to make any decisions about where to start, I feel like it's not enough to know the distribution. I could make some decisions, but I feel like I want to know a little more about these different states and opportunities there. So I also copy-pasted in some population data. I just went to Wikipedia to figure out how many people actually live in individual states. These are not totally recent numbers, but close. So I'm going to work with that in a second. I also added some region information just to make it, so I can look by territories and regions of the US. And I added some consumption data. And by the way, look at how many liters per person are drunk here every year of soda. It's pretty amazing. So I'm going to use that also to predict the potential sales. And then because a country like Denmark, you saw some good attributes of Denmark from Julie's demo, but there are other attributes like it rains a lot, hence I moved to Seattle. Right. and there's other aspects of that I'm going to look at. So I've got different data sets here. I've got some rainfall data by state. I've got some crime data by state. Because as I'm driving around with my bicycle delivering these Jolly Colas, I want to make sure I'm safe. And I've got a little bit of temperature data,
what?
weather
I'm
data.
drinking cola and violent crime?
Yeah.
Sugar, caffeine.
I
caffeine.
think Jolly Cola is
I can't wait to see Jolly Cola.
Okay, let's go then. So I've got this data, but one of the problems I have right now, obviously, is that I've got all these different tables. So I'm going to throw these into a Power Pivot like Julie did before, real quick, so I can actually hook it up together in a common report.
So again, you're using Excel with Power Pivot. You grabbed some data from a number of different places.
Exactly.
You made some data up.
Oops. Oh, the mouse, we have a mouse?
you go.
Thanks. That's helpful. So I'm going to throw all these tables that I just saw up there in Power Pivot by creating linked tables, similar to what Julie did. Let me just get that quickly done. And you get the drift here. I don't need to finish this. There's a lot of tables here. So what do I do now? Well, I go into my pre-defined report to show you the final result here and do some
Oh,
analysis.
this is like one of those bake and shake things, huh?
Exactly.
All right.
Oops, the wrong
Hand
way.
wave.
Hand wave a little bit. I mean, it's going to be more fun this way, I think. So let's open it up. So here's a report I've built where I've taken all these tables. Let me just enable the content for a second. And thrown them into Power Pivot. I'm going to give you a quick view of that so you know I'm not kidding. And the only thing I've done other than click that little button for each table is that I've created some relationships between the tables so the system knows how these things are related.
All right, and you're using Power Pivot V1.
I'm using Power Pivot V1 for this because I'm less bold than Julie. But yes, I am.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, great. The next step is I created a pivot table here on my Pivot Table Reports tab. You'll see I've got all my tables listed in the field list here, and that's all great. But this is not really, it's a little boring. I mean, I've done all this to set it up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a quick look at the data. So I know that in Denmark it rains quite a lot, and I'm wondering if that might have an effect on people liking Jolly Cola over other colas maybe. So I'm going to try and see what I have here. Sort this by largest to smallest and see where it rains the most. Well, I'm going to pick, that looks pretty good. Let me pick a couple of states here and filter by them, if it wants to do that for me. And I get a list here, and I can go and look at different things, like for these states where it rains kind of a lot, similar to Denmark, and what's the crime rate and things like that. And I've inserted a quick chart for this to give you a geographical view of this by region, and it's kind of, I think it's pretty much does the job for us, don't you think, guys?
No.
No?
No.
Why not?
Well, I mean, you're looking at region. We need a map that shows region, right?
You have a map?
That's what performance point's for.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, show us.
I will. Let me close all this stuff and open up SharePoint. let's create a dashboard. I have a data source in here handy that points to your workbook. So
Alan did the heavy lifting, built this model out in Excel and using Power Pivot. You're bringing
You
it
can
in.
say it. I did the boring part.
You did. I said heavy lifting. This is stuff I like. And then you're bringing it into Performance Point. And you're connecting straight to the workbook.
I'm connecting straight to the range in the workbook.
Right. So you've published the workbook into
It's in
SharePoint.
a document library in SharePoint.
All right,
Nothing
and then
special.
you're just connecting to it. Fantastic.
So
And
I
now
have my
you're
data source.
using Dashboard Designer. Mm-hmm. Great.
Yep. So we're going to actually, I need to create not a data source. I don't have a library real quick. Give me one more second.
I see you prepped for this.
I did. Well, I built the whole thing, and I thought I would build it live, and I've already fallen off my demo, but that's okay.
Yeah, these guys were compiling code 2 minutes before this. So
We were. Okay.
I know. So what's with so what is Jolly? You keep going.
No.
Don't look
Oh,
here.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. It's coming back up. It's coming back up. Okay, so Performance Point, obviously. We have our workbook data source, and I'm going to start by building a KPI off of his data, and we're going to do something a little fun with it. So I thought it would be interesting to not only see the data on a scorecard, but also see the soda icon. So we're going to take our KPI, we'll just call it market share here, and I'm going to connect it to the same data source that he's using, the same workbook. And I'll select the measures. All these things will come through, the different Coda brand. Basically, we have the percentage of all three of the cola brands and a whole bunch of other funky stuff that isn't relevant to building a map, so we won't bother pulling all that stuff in, like the crime data, and I'm not sure
we don't need that.
actually makes any difference for people buying soda.
Well, there may be
Buying
a question.
houses.
What's that?
Buying houses, maybe, not soda.
Could be.
Okay, so we'll add Coke as a value in here. We'll call it Coke. We'll add a new one for Pepsi. Do the same thing. Map it really quick.
Gotta get my Jolly Cola in there. What do you have?
Has anyone had Jolly Cola?
Some of the days must have had it.
Okay, we got 4 hands up, plus Alan, that's 5.
I hear it still exists even.
Is it? Is it
It's
good?
a website.
Is it good?
I also understand there's commercials that we can't show that might be worth YouTubing.
Yeah, there's
Listen, if your demo's not working, maybe the backup plan is the commercial.
Oh yeah, so there's this Danish supermodel who did a nice commercial for Jolly Cola back in '93. So Pez thought it wasn't suitable for this audience.
It's not a demo. This is Power Hour demos, not advertisements.
That's right.
Okay, so I've got all of my measures in here, and normally with the target in Performance Point, you would just, say what you expect your value to be, and then it would give you, if you're plus or minus off that target. But I took the time to create an indicator that I'm actually just going to import in here because we are already running behind me building the whole thing. So if I go to my SharePoint workspace here, I can pull in the soda cans indicator, which basically I just built a collection of icons for the different cans, and I mapped them all to different values. So you see level 1 through 7. And then I also gave them some colors so we can surface the soda color on a map.
So basically what you're saying here is that Performance Point has a bunch of indicators out of the box, but if you wanted to use your own indicators, you can bring those in. They can be whatever you like. And
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. And then we're going to actually go crazy with that because by default, like I said, we would compare that to an actual value or something, but we don't have an actual value we can really compare that to. We have the percentages of the different sodas. So I'm going to go into my target, and I'm going to use a calculated metric, and I have a little handy copy of it here because you don't want to watch me trying to remember this thing. It's kind of crazy. And
that's
a whole
what?
bunch of if statements.
Fun.
Basically, just using the if statement capability to build a metric on the fly, I'm determining which soda is in the lead. So we'll take our blank calculation.
And calculated metrics is relatively new in 2010, right?
It is brand new in 2010, and it's actually my feature, so I'm pretty often pimping that feature. That's okay. It's fun. Okay, so I have to add a value for each of these different things so my formula knows what they mean when I say them. So I've got Coke, Pepsi, and then I called it other.
Other, man.
Other.
Got to change that.
Well, you haven't won yet.
Okay, well.
When you win.
How long is this going to take?
I'm almost done. Almost done.
I can sense a feud on the team. You guys must have had a lot of fun building this. I can sense the arguments now. You got to put jolly in there. It's not jolly. You got to put jolly in there. It's not jolly.
It was all in good fun. Okay, so I have my KPI, and it's all banded incorrectly. So instead of doing that again and making you watch me do it, I will pull that in from my workspace as well and show you what it looks like when it's completed. So market statistics is this same KPI, and if you look at, I pulled all the different things, and now the target, you'll see all of my little cans and the bands, and I've basically just, my if statement gives you a number between 1 and 8, and that tells you if either the soda's in the lead or if it's tied with other different sodas as well. So now we want a scorecard, or we want to see that on a map, so we can use the Visio feature, strategy map feature and performance point. I can sit here and map 50 states to KPIs if you would like. No? No? Okay.
I watched that. You don't want to see it.
Yeah, you don't want to see it. I've unfortunately had to do that about 8 times in the building of this demo, and you don't want to see it. So let's grab that as well.
So here you use Visio to create the maps, and then you're going to plot the stats on top of it, and it's going to get shown in performance point.
I am going to connect the KPI that you see. Will on the scorecard. Let's just open the scorecard real quick. What you'll see for the scorecard, I'm just going to open up the finished workspace and save you guys all watching me click around. So where is BI Power? Here we go. Okay, so this is just a workspace with all the stuff built, and I'll kind of go through everything, and then we'll publish it and let you see it. So, I feel like everyone's waiting on me. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
That, that would make you the demoer.
That's what it was when we were building this.
It was. Okay, so we have our KPI that you saw here, and then I've placed it on a scorecard that I called Market Stats. So if you look at that, it's a scorecard, and I've taken his state dimension, basically, and I've added it on the scorecard with all of my indicators, so you get a whole bunch of data. And then I've also hidden consumption, population, and rainfall, because I don't really care about those. And when I collapse that, we'll take a look at the actual map, which in this case, I've made all these connections, but I'll just give you a quick peek to how simple that is. Every time when you make a strategy map, Visio in particular gives you the ability to bind a shape to a data source. So what we're doing is using the Visio services web part, and then we're choosing to use the KPI as a data source. So if you were to look at the properties, edit strategy map here, you'll see the connections, all the connections that are made. So if I were to go here, you'll see that. And you can also bind the KPI to the shape if you want. All of these now, it's literally a matter of select the shape on Visio, like so, and then come here and just point to the value that you want mapped to it. Point and click. All right, so.
Doesn't seem that user-friendly, does it?
Yeah. Very small screen, very big map. Okay.
What can you give us?
Now, I'm going to deploy this thing to SharePoint.
Yeah.
Okay?
So basically, the nice thing about Dashboard Designer is that you can not only create, not only you can create content within it, but you can also
He's talking and telling me to keep going.
But you can also pull content from other sources and bring it in and kind of create your dashboard view, and it could be anything else, like Visio in this case, reporting services.
That's a great point.
Excel.
Actually, Alan's workbook, I stole one other thing from it. He has a report on here somewhere that I thought was pretty cool. Where is it? Here? This guy here. So I just included that in my dashboard. So if you were to look at my web parts here, and also in the list, I have the state detail, which is just an Excel services web part. So I'm just pulling that directly from his workbook.
All right, so it's a nice place to aggregate not only data, because it can come from a variety of backends, but content as well, and literally any content you can get to via URL or a workbook or other items.
Yes, today that's the exact word I use, the great aggregator of our BI products.
There you
I
go.
think it's definitely that. So,
Okay.
deployed to SharePoint, what you end up seeing is, actually we'll just deploy it. So in Performance Point 2010, one big improvement we made was the one-click deploy. It was kind of a pain to pick where things were going to go. Now you literally click it, tell it what library, and it builds the web part page right then.
So then it's just dropping everything into SharePoint. All the items you created goes into a list.
all the items are in a SharePoint list. The dashboard itself ends up being just a standard web part page. There's no
That's
special.
a pretty small map there.
Yeah, it's a weird small screen. It's a standard web part page, standard SharePoint connections. If you want to then open it up in SharePoint Designer or just the browser and add any kind of web part you want, you sure can.
Okay.
So here we got our map, and it's surfacing and showing me there are a few states that apparently are already leading with Jolly Cola.
Yeah, it's interesting, you know. I don't know.
Wow, that catches on fast.
Data is real.
Yeah, I've got my states here that are tied, so you see that, and then obviously Coke and Pepsi are red and blue. And if I were to come over here, I also have my scorecard that we built, which is very long, that has all of my states, and you can see the different cans that are showing not only the leaders, but some of these cases they should be split if you have ties. So it's pretty cool.
Nice.
Should do this for the election next year.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Okay.
So the funny thing is when we started looking at this, we kind of got a little competitive. And, you know, personally I'm from North Carolina, and North Carolina is blue, so I'm blue, Pepsi, right? I'm actually red the other way, but blue as far as soda goes, anyways. So I think I want to try and make the entire map blue.
Oh, come on.
What?
Come on.
I
No way.
I mean, I could just...
I like Coke. I'm not letting you do that.
I could just go into your workbook here and start overwriting your data. And,
No. That's not how you do it. There are better ways to do this.
okay.
So if you want to play Cola Wars, say that.
Okay,
Play Cola
let's play.
Wars. Let's play Cola Wars. Okay.
I sense a risk game coming.
I feel left out. You're just looking at him and you say, let's play. So.
Well, Jolly Cola is not in the picture, so
Man.
I'm not going to worry
Man.
about that.
Okay, so what
All right.
do you, man, Protect, welcome.
Oh, we're in DOS.
Wow, man.
What are you doing in a command prompt
The
window?
Coke UI?
This is low-tech competition.
Oh, come on. This is our web services API.
least
You
make
take
it
web services
PowerShell.
API, and then you can, connect.
So
edit
you're
web-
using the Excel services, web services API.
Yeah, I'm using the Excel services, web services API.
I wonder what marketing guy named that. The Excel services, web services API. I love that.
It rolls so well.
Yeah, it does. I can't wait to see the acronym.
So,
right.
so using that, we're able to edit the workbook and make changes directly there. But
Okay.
since you wanted to play Cola Wars, I thought I'll challenge you to a game of Cola Wars using the rules of risk. So we both roll die, and the results of the die will decide who ends up owning the state.
Okay,
Game on?
game on.
All right,
Do it to it.
all right.
So you're going to play Cola Wars in a command prompt. Let's go.
In a command prompt.
All right.
All right, Jason.
I can't wait to see
We
this.
were coding to 2 minutes.
Okay,
Forms
I
was
think for the next
a little
BI
later.
Power Hour, I will review the demos.
It's available for all major game consoles in the next
Where do you want to go? Where's blue? Oh, Washington. I want to take Washington from you. So I'm going to go attack you from the state of Oregon to the state of...
I've seen this movie. Shall we play a game?
And like that,
Oregon to
I
Washington.
wonder if you can hack it. Can I?
I'm going to win. I'm going to win. Come on, come
Okay.
on, come on.
Help me out here.
So what's happening behind the scenes is I'm using the power of Excel to actually roll the dice, so random numbers are getting generated. I'm reading those values, and they're using a bunch of VLOOKUP formulas.
It is?
deciding.
Okay, keep going.
I'm deciding who's actually winning, and see when we roll. Oh shit! I lost. But I'm going to go at it again. I still have troops left. I still have some left.
If I wrote the game, I would have rigged it a little. That was embarrassing.
Oh, hang on a second. Sorry, I won. I was looking at the wrong thing. You lost.
Okay, no, thank you for describing what's going on. My real question is, like, I pretend I'm part of the audience. I'll even sit down. How would I use this, like, at my job?
Everyone wants to play games at work. Everyone plays games at work, but the point being that you can edit workbooks, and if you want to edit workbooks and build games,
Thank you. So this is using the Excel services, web services API. If you needed to go in and batch edit a number of workbooks
Right.
because you wanted your state to be higher than some, I don't know. You pick the scenario. You could do this by building an application and going against all your workbooks within a SharePoint document library.
It's,
That's the.
it's literally the SharePoint or the Excel services web service, making a straight call to it.
I mean, a straight call to it. It's opening up the workbook. It's applying whatever variables or parameters I'm sending to it. It's updating it and then saving it back into SharePoint.
Well, you don't really save an Excel services workbook.
Oh, I forgot. There is no save. That's right. But it
That
is
is
saved.
autosave.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Okay.
Washington's mine.
That only took like 10 minutes.
What's going on
So wait, I want to try.
Let's refresh. I want to see Washington being
Okay.
Alan, let Alan play.
Okay,
He
how
hasn't
about-
got to talk in like
Okay,
10 minutes.
guys, people. This
So-
isn't. Look, you're not playing Stratego or Risk at home. Okay. How do we wrap up?
So let's end it by me just taking over the world. I just think this is, you didn't even let me into the game, right? And I've got
seriously
so
am
few
trying.
troops and I've got no state. So I'm just going to, Soda, what is the name of the thing? So I wasn't kidding when I said they compiled 2 minutes before and changed the name of the file. So
So they took your back door out.
I'm going to try my hack here. World domination.
Activision made a game like this.
I'm going to try and see if I can get some Jolly Cola distributed around the world there.
So one thing.
What's technically happening now, right, man?
I have no idea what's going on.
One thing that's kind of interesting, if you're a PPS fan, you've noticed the actual dashboard is refreshing itself in the background. That's an SDK extension that one of our program managers, Scott Heimendinger, wrote that allows you to.
There you go. See, if
All right, round of applause.
I can break it that easily.
Throw stuff. I think they deserved it. Okay, you need to pass off the mics. Turn them off. Oh, that was interesting. So API, batch, processing. Give that to, if Carolyn doesn't have one. What's a thumb drive?
He says it's working now.
Didn't I already give you one?
It's too late now.
I gave you one, didn't I? Yeah, I'll come back.
Okay. Yeah. Nitesh, next year we're gonna have a gong up on the stage.
Yeah, I review or gong? I don't know.
I think the
maybe
gong.
both.
Gong. Yeah.
All right. Are you up? Okay. So, since most of you are new, can I do some background context?
I have some background context.
Oh, you've
built
already
in.
got background context. So, the next demo, here's my disclaimer. SSIS, which Matt is from that team. So, any SSIS fans in the house?
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome. Yay.
So, Matt approached me and went, "Hey, Pej, SSIS is never in Power Hour. Why is that?" And I like SSIS. I'm a big fan of what we're doing there. But I was like, seriously? No, I don't know. Can you do a Risk game?
next year maybe. Yeah.
All right. So he goes, "Hey, I want SSIS to be in here." Right? Pass it down. There. I'll be back. I got tons. And he goes, "Okay, bring SSIS." Matt did an interesting demo last year.
Yep.
So why don't you give people a little update of what you did, and then please tell me what we're doing. SSIS is no longer my only friend.
Yeah. So last year I proved that if you are a programmer, you don't need real friends when you can programmatically create your own. Okay. So my title of my demo last year was SSIS is my only friend. So let me just give a quick recap of last year. So I started off by showing everybody my awesome Facebook page.
And hold on, I forgot to ask. That's still you in a druid outfit?
Yeah, so my Facebook page had all kinds of pictures from my LARPing days.
Oh, you what?
LARPing, live action role playing. You never did LARPing in high school?
Listen, they told me to roll a 4-sided dice. I left.
Okay, so yeah, so I had pictures from my LARPing days. I had really interesting stories about my day-to-day life, about stuff I was eating and stuff. I had a couple thousand pictures of my cat, Mr. Wiggles. He is such a crazy cat. I could tell you some funny stories about it. It might be funnier than the last demo, but I will stick to my time because we have very interesting demos coming up. And yeah, anyway, so thousands of pictures of my cats, interesting stories, but I had one big problem with my Facebook profile. I had no friends, 0 friends.
Hold on. 1, 2, 3. Aww.
Thanks. So that is why, so I ended up creating some SSIS, some Facebook connectors for SSIS that would connect to Facebook and read my comments. A comment generator, so like it would generate these clever, helpful comments and then post them back up to make it feel like I had friends. Okay.
How many people have done this? What? Seriously?
Really, none of you have.
You guys
Anyways.
should so get together. You can share stories. Do you like cats?
So the thing was, my talk last year at Power Hour was so popular, I got flooded with friend requests, like absolutely bombarded with friend requests.
Because it was popular.
Because it was very popular. I'm sure it had nothing to do with them feeling sorry for me. And yeah, so I ended up having so many friends that I could no longer manage my social life on my own. I actually had to put together an EIM, so an Enterprise Information Management System, using SSIS to manage my social life. And by sheer coincidence, all the pieces I needed to put together the solution were being delivered in SQL Server Denali. How lucky was I?
Hold on. Matt, where do you work?
I work on the EIM team, actually. But anyways, that is also a sheer coincidence as well. So now I'm going to start off my demo with a Windows Phone 7 app.
Oh, thank God. I thought you were going to bring up a command prompt.
So I have this Windows Phone 7 app that I wrote myself and running on my phone. So I'm going to update my status, right? So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to post to Facebook. And I don't know if you see that. It says, what is up tonight? Well, so what's up in Atlanta tonight, dogs? Notice my cool spelling of dogs to make sure people know I'm ready to party down tonight. And so I'm going to post this up. Okay. So, okay, Facebook status updated. And now while my friends are responding to this, Maybe a command prompt was a better idea. Actually, you know what? I think I had this open for so long in the previous demo that, anyways. So I'll just leave that there. So anyway, so this is posted to Facebook. And now I'm going to show you my EIM solution while all my friends start responding and telling me where they're at and stuff. And this is going to analyze stuff later and tell me where to go. OK, so let's switch over to SSIS. So there's lots of SSIS fans. Hopefully a lot of you were in my previous session where I went over some of the new Denali features. This is one of my packages. So this is my friend request processor. You can see that in there. Now my friend, yep.
What's kitties?
Okay, well, hold on. I'll walk through that.
Sorry, you're not there yet?
No. So
okay, I'm sorry, my eye just popped to...
Kitties? Oh, yeah. So what this package does is I have a Facebook source that's going to go out and read my incoming friend requests. And it goes to the special script. It means show me cats or please go away. And basically it's a special algorithm. So basically, I have so many friends on my friend list. Facebook actually sent me an email and said, you can't have any more friends. You're slowing down our system. So I have to be really selective about who I let onto my friends list. Mr. Wiggles and I, Mr. Wiggles and I only like to associate with other cat lovers. So basically, I have this special algorithm that will look at their Facebook page and stuff, and I only accept other cat lovers onto my friends list. So if they don't pass that test, I go down my rejected path, and I go to my special rejection transformation. This is going to craft a custom rejection letter to make them not feel so bad that I'm rejecting them as a friend. And then finally, I go down to my MySpace destination, because let's face it, who uses MySpace anymore? And I'm more than happy to redirect traffic their way.
Matt?
Yep?
I don't know if you know this. You probably don't. I just want to let you know. Yeah, MySpace is a really big SQL Server customer.
Okay, well, that's no problem, actually. So I can just fix that right here. So I'm just going to call this the awesome destination. So I'm more than happy to send more traffic to a site like MySpace, which is completely relevant, as like classmates.com in these days. And so I'm more than happy to send traffic down to my MySpace page. Okay, so if they are accepted, I'll come over to this multicast, and I'll send the data down to Facebook to actually approve the friend requests, and also add them to my master friends list. Okay, so let's go over to my main package. This is my social life manager. Okay. So what this package is going to do is going to actually read those responses that I got from posting to Facebook, and I'm going to get a lot of them. I'm going to get so many of them. In fact, I have to use Stream Insight. So this is a complex event processing. I can really programmatically sort out the responses. And this is going to do two things. It's going to sort out all the stuff that's not related to locations or whatever. It's also hooked up to this back-end database that knows where I am. So it knows where I'm in Atlanta, so it's going to filter out only the posts related to Atlanta. Then it's going to go down to this friend or frenemy lookup task.
Matt,
okay? Yeah.
What's a frenemy?
Okay, so you know the
saying... Do
saying...
I need to ask that? Like...
Well, so so the saying is, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. So a frenemy is somebody you keep on your friends list, even though they embarrass you or you don't like them. Or you don't want to hang out with them, basically so I can track where they are and stay away from them. Okay. And so what I'm doing, I'm actually doing a lookup against the master data services friends list. So I have so many friends, I need a special master data list of them all. And this is a new plugin for Excel, for master data services in Denali. I can actually do all of my data modeling and all my master dimension modeling from Excel. So I can add new properties. So you see here I have friend status column, some E's, some F's, and yeah, so I can just basically manage my friends list.
Hey, slow that down a little.
Yeah.
Keep going. I think I saw those in AdventureWorks.
That is a sheer coincidence, Patch.
No, Matt. I see these guys in AdventureWorks.
Well, thank you for pointing that out in front of this whole audience. Let me make a quick adjustment to my model. I'm just going to publish this up, and I can add an annotation about why I'm making this change. Okay? And I publish this, and it goes directly to my database, and now when I query it, from SSIS. So I've actually exposed my master data services list here as a subscription view, and then becomes basically a view within SQL Server, so I can use it as a lookup query. So here I'm going to look up the person's name against their master record to find out if they're a friend or a frenemy. From there, I do a conditional split. My frenemies I'm going to send over to a destination for later data mining. That way I can detect if a bunch of my friends are meeting together, I know that they're plotting against me. Then I'm going to go into data quality services transform. So data quality services, another new product in Denali. It lets you clean data. There's a great presentation on Monday about this. What I'm going to use it for is I'm going to use it to filter out typos, or basically correct typos. So they'll give me, saying I'm at a restaurant or bar, so I can fix any typos, or I can correct addresses and stuff like that. So I'll just show that really quick. So data quality services, you basically create a knowledge base and you set up some domains. And there's a lot of built-in domains, like addresses. So data quality services knows how to clean addresses by default, right?
And that all ships in the box, right?
That all ships in the box. And I can also customize it, right? I can make it learn. I can make it, I can give it master data. I can correct data as it goes through. And the more rules I build up, the smarter it gets. So here I have an example of a zip code here, and I can add different rules, like, okay, it has to match this pattern. I want it to be 5 numbers long. The maximum length is 5. Right? There's a lot of visual patterns I can add here. Value contains, value is in. I can start filtering out data. I can also say, okay, map the word KFC should be mapped to Kentucky Fried Chicken. Right? I can map that do that sort of stuff. One of the coolest features, though, is the fact that you can plug in reference data services. So I can actually go out to SQL Azure Data Market. Right? Melissa Data is a provider out there that has all addresses. I can actually hook up my domain to a reference data set in Data Market, and so pass all my data up to the cloud, have it cleansed, and have it passed back without having to build up that reference data myself. which is very cool. There's going to be a whole bunch of reference data sets up there. OK, so back to my package. I'm almost done.
So there you're pulling data in from SQL Azure Data Market to apply to your...
Yeah, so it actually pushes the data up to the data market.
Right.
Melissa data, in this case I was using for my address cleansing, is actually going to do the cleansing process and send me back the cleansed data. Here I have a data viewer, it's going to stop, and then finally it gets put into my social database. That's going to be analyzed, and then I'll get a notification on my phone when it's done its analysis. So I'm just going to run this package now. And so let's see how many posts I've had since I started talking. OK, so there's been over 5,000 posts from my friends. Stream Insights filtered out 5,000 unrelated things. So 43 are people in Atlanta telling me to go hang out with them. Let's open my data viewer. So here I can actually see the values that were corrected. So let's see. It corrected Fat Match Chicken Chick to Fat Match Chicken Shack. OK, that's cool. It corrected Pricey on Far Road to Preachy on Far Road. OK, that makes sense. Xenon 10 with the number 10 to Xenon 10. That's cool. And it auto-corrected stuff like, OK, I have Vertex Bar and Grill on Moreland. And that corrected to Vortex Bar and Grill, and it put in the full address. Because data quality can validate everything together, right? So it knows that this bar is on this street, so it matches those things together for me. Fleming's Prime Steakhouse goes to Fleming's Prime. Yeah, that's different. Crabba goes to Carrabba. Cool. And they have a California Pizza Kitchen right near my hotel. That's pretty cool. OK, so I'm going to let this continue playing. It's going to put the data into the database. And I'll switch back to my Windows Phone app. That should still be working. And we'll let it process in SQL Azure. OK, I got the notification from SQL Azure. I'm going to click my Analyze button, and it tells me to stay home and play Xbox. That's, my app knows me really well. And that's it. Thanks.
Hey, I think that was pretty good.
Thanks.
That was good. How do I make it up to you? How do I get on your good side?
How to get in on my good side?
What I got to do?
We'll talk.
We'll talk?
We'll talk.
We'll talk. Excellent. Thanks again. All right. Last but not least.
He needs T-shirts.
Oh, yeah. Throw stuff. Who hasn't got one? Hey, you in the back need to come up to the front because we can't throw that far. There we go.
Good job.
I should just throw all of these in the air. I'm not throwing. Okay. Okay, Carolyn. Last but not least, and this is, what's your demo about?
Oh, but before we talk about my demo, I just wanted to let everybody know that Matt is actually working to be a professional comedian. So following his act is really, not high on my list of things I wanted to do today, but here I am. I'm Carolyn. Hopefully you guys have seen me in the sessions today, around Crescent yesterday. I've got 2 short demos for you because I'm a mom, and I don't have all the time that these guys have to spend building these complex demos all the time. So I'm going to show you 2 data sets, and we'll have some fun with 2 data sets. And they're around kind of the themes that we've been talking about today, life and health and games. So the first one is about food, and the second one is about games.
And clearly why Matt has no friends.
And yes, and why Matt has no friends. So I'm going to show you, first of all, that these are actually real data sets that you can go and also get yourself. The first one I'm actually going to use is the food data set, and it is a USDA data set, so it is a government data set. You can go and grab it from the USDA. The second one is gaming sales, and it's also another website that you can go and grab this data from. So I didn't make it up. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the first one. And I just want to go back to my picture for a sec, because this is I have two girls. This is my younger daughter, and I don't know where she came from, because I love to eat, and she hates eating, okay? So I think the reason is because I grew up in California, where there's an abundance of wonderful food, and then I decided to move to Seattle, where it's rainy and gray all the time. So she's from Seattle, and I'm really from California. So I kind of want to see if there's really a difference in the eating habits of both of those places, okay? So I pulled the USDA data so I could take a look and figure out if there's really a difference between the eating habits in California versus something like Seattle or somewhere else.
And what are you using here?
This is Project Crescent.
Is everyone familiar with Crescent?
Yeah. Yay.
Okay,
So Project
couple.
Crescent is a new product that's coming in Denali. And here's my data set. It's got basically food groups, which is part of the food pyramid. And it's got expenditures by food groups. So let's go ahead and see the billions and billions of dollars we spend in different types of food. Okay? It also has market groups, which tell us where that money gets spent. Oh, I didn't want to do that. So let's go ahead and look at division and expenditure and take a look at that. So the USDA actually had to come up with some things that are not in our natural food pyramid, like prepared foods, because I don't know how you categorize that, right? But we spend a lot of money on prepared foods, $300 billion, right? And a lot of that food expenditure actually happens in the South Atlantic, which is where we are right now, okay? So you probably have been out to a couple of restaurants, and we're spending a lot of money here in the South Atlantic. So let's go ahead and take a look by area, kind of what the food consumption is like. So let's go ahead and add the food group data to our regions. So that kind of tells you a breakout of the different types of foods that people are eating in the different areas. Now, because there's so much variation in the amount of food that's consumed in different areas, what I'm going to do is change that into a 100% bar. And that's going to give me the percentages of food of the different types, so now I can actually compare across the different types, okay? So let's go ahead and look at something like dairy. Let me click on dairy. And you can really easily see the places where the dairy gets consumed most, which is, like mountain region and over in the Pacific, right? We eat a lot of dairy. How about meats? Let's look at meats. Actually, I was kind of surprised. In New England, they don't eat a lot of meat. But they do everywhere else, I guess. Okay, so some interesting data there. Let's actually take a look a little more in depth at the different types of foods. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move the food pyramid here so I can use it as a filter. Hello? Did it do it? Thinking about it? Okay, so there's my food pyramid. And then I'm going to take the detailed foods and drop them, drag and drop them, and replace the food pyramid here. And you can ignore the little yellow thing. Don't worry about that. There's so many values here that it's not kind of useful to look at them all at the same time. So let's just pick like vegetable and water. They kind of go together, right? It's good for you. So let's take a look at some of the differences in the behavior by region. You can really easily see, where do people spend the most money on water? Where do you think? Hello? Water. In the Pacific, right? On the West Coast, we buy a lot of water. And how about like dark frozen vegetables or fresh vegetables? Maybe there's something interesting there. So, you can see some of the trends in that. But I wanted to go back to the question that I started with, right? Which is, I want to look across all the different types of food we eat in the different regions and see if there's a difference in the health of the people and the eating patterns of people across the different regions. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to start over. And I'm going to add the food group, for example. I'll add the expenditures. Let me go ahead and make that a little bit bigger. And I'm going to make that a column chart. Okay, so I've got information about years, too. So let's go ahead and do that over time and see if we've also got better over time about the food we eat. So now I've got a little chart for each of the different years. And I actually want to compare them. So what I'm going to do is add and move the food pyramid to the top, so I can see all the different foods across all the different years, and you can look at it by region. Okay, and I'm going to change the layout so I can see all of the data, basically. So here's the overall consumption across the different years and the different foods, and let's look at that by region. So let's take and grab the market, because that's a little more detail, and you can see the different regions. Let's look at Boston on the East Coast, for example. Boston behavior is kind of like the average behavior, right? You didn't see a lot of change. So my theory is California, represented by Los Angeles here, is going to be more healthy than Boston. Okay, so I'm going to click on Los Angeles next. So Crescent is very smart. So I'm going to ask Crescent, Crescent, is California and Los Angeles more healthy than Boston? Let's find out. What? I guess Los Angeles is just not more healthy.
Yeah, she goes, oh, you can go download this data. It's freely available on the web.
All right, one more. How about Atlanta? Are we having a great tech ed and a great BI Power Hour? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my first demo. Let's move on to the second one. The second one is a games demo, and if you guys, a lot of new people here who have never seen Power Hour before, right? Reporting Services has a history of creating games, ones that actually work, for Power Hour. But this year,
you know the good part about this? We got a whole year.
I know. But this year we decided we're just going to show you some game data because, you know, like I said, I have 2 kids, a little one, and I don't have time to actually build a game this year. All right, so I've got some game information. So let's go ahead and look at it. I've got games, I've got the images for the games, the platforms, the publishers, and the most interesting thing about the games in this data set is the sales, right? You want to know how much each of the games is selling. So I've got a big, long list. So what I want to do is actually compare different games.
Hey, Matt, you taking a look? You and I can do this later. I'm just trying to get back on your good side.
All right, I want to compare the games, the cumulative sales and the weekly sales. So when a game comes out, what happens to that game, right? You have sales, the sales start, and then over time, you get additional sales. So along the bottom is the accumulation of the sales across time. So week 1 plus week 2 plus week 3. Across this axis is actually each individual week's sales. So we'll see what happens as the game progresses each individual week. And we're looking at each game separately, right? And I also have this thing called impact. And impact is basically just how well it's doing that week. So if it's doing really well, the bubble's really big. If it's not really doing well and it's kind of low in the rankings, the bubble gets smaller. Okay, and you can see the most popular game is Call of Duty Black Ops. There's a lot of other games. Halo 2. Hey, they're all Microsoft games.
Funny that.
Super Mario Brothers. Oh, well, that one's not. Oh, well. Halo 3. All right. So anyway, let's look across each week and let's see what happens. So, like I said, the first week is usually the biggest opening week, right? You sell a lot of games in the first week, so that's why you see at the very beginning that there's a ton of sales and the spike, the curve is very high. So let me go ahead and play this across the weeks, and you can see right away, almost right away, the sales drop per week, except that there are a couple of little bubbles that kind of bounce up and down, right? Those are kind of anomalies where the sales, as the weeks go on, there's actually bumps in the sales, right? And those are kind of unusual. So maybe, I mean, there's so many bubbles, it's kind of hard to tell what's going on. So maybe there's something going on that I can break down the bubbles by the different genres and kind of see what's happening. So that'll just give me less bubbles so I can track what's going on. So let's look at action first. Let's go ahead and see what happens. So action games, they start off really strong the first week, and kind of nothing happens, right? So these games, they just kind of progress slowly, and the growth is very slow. So some of these are Grand Theft Auto, a bug, a really slow tooltip. Okay, we forget what game that is. All right, so you can see action games, the progress is very slow and very steady, right? So let's compare that to something like an adventure game. And there's a lot of dots, so it's redrawing. It'll just take it a sec, and there's my adventure games. And let's go ahead and see what happens with adventure games. Those keep popping up. Adventure games are a little more interesting. Their growth is actually different across different weeks, right?
That adventure
so
game. You don't have to do it in real life anymore.
So, you know, they actually have a number of bumps right in the middle. So this is Legend of Zelda. And they kind of grow more slowly. And the curves are very different, right? So that's interesting. Let's go ahead and look down at something like sports games, because they're very popular, I think. Let's let it redraw for a sec. And
I think you
we'll
just
look
had
at
to talk
sports
to it.
games. Huh?
I think you just had to
I
talk to
know.
it.
Oh, Crescent, please behave. Okay, so we've got sports games. And we'll see what happens with sports games. Okay.
Oh, Madden got out.
Wow, yeah, no kidding. Wii Fit Plus.
Ooh.
So if you buy Wii Fit, everybody comes to your house and tries it, and then 10 weeks later, they go and buy it themselves. I guess that's what happens, right? And what's this other one? It's kind of interesting. I'm not sure. That's name. Oh, there it is. Tooltip delay. Sean, you're going to fix this. Okay, well, anyway, those are my 2 interesting games here. And there it is. It's a Wii Fit Plus, and the other one is Wii Sports. So both Wii games have very interesting curves.
No
Hey,
pun
but-
intended.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Hey, you can't argue with data.
So there's another really interesting category here, retro games. You guys want to know what retro games are?
Yeah, what
Can
I
you
played.
name some?
Pac-Man, Space
And
Invaders.
Space Invaders, Pac-Man. Yeah, all great retro games. So let's take a look at retro
Galaga.
games. Oh, well, that's really interesting. All the bubbles are all on the right-hand side. What's going on with
I wonder
retro
what's going
games?
on. Yeah.
Oh. Project Crescent's all about having fun with data, guys.
All right, last but not least. So we started off with this tone dictionary, and I asked you to, please participate. Thank you for those that did. I pulled this data into Excel using Power Pivot, and we can just take a look at that data. So there's been people tweeting about Power Hour over the last couple of days, but it spiked, oddly enough, today. We have our top hashtags. Oddly enough, it's Power Hour, because that was what I told you to do, so a lot of people listened. Thank you. But they also use some other hashtags as well, like Follow Gang, Velvet Lounge, which I'll look at later. There are top mentioners, so we've got Rizzy, SPG, Creative Rejects. Thank you, Creative Rejects. And get a kind of feel for what's happening. When did people start tweeting? When did it peak? All of that good stuff. The time's off because it's using my laptop and its local time is set to PST. We can also look at people. So we can take a look at, and this isn't all that interesting because it's all in one day, but you get an idea of who's the top tweeters by day. So Tech Ed Nights, SharePoint Horn, Kevin Butcher, Iron Pej. That was funny. I was up here. I don't know how that happened. And a few others. And then the other thing that's neat is since we use the tone dictionary, for those of you that follow the tone, I get an idea of a lot of neutral tone, some positive, a couple of negatives. I kind of get the tone score by the day, but it peaked today. And then what I really, really like is the details tab, as soon as it comes up, because this is the fun part, right? So I get a good snapshot view, I get an aggregated view of what's happening, but then I can go see who tweeted, and I get to see the tweet. So I'm going to click on negative, because that's where I'm going first, right? So there's a couple of interesting tweets, right? Barrel proof, yes. Free swag, not in the men's room at the Power Hour, right? Noodle arm sucks. Yes, barrel proof, no beer thrown here. Yes, thank you. Power Hour Excel Services, Web Services API. Bad name. I know. Right? Seriously, who uses MySpace? More fun, go to the positives, and you get the idea. And the reason I wanted to show this one, it's kind of fun to do. The main thing is there's a lot of different things that you can do to get your users doing BI. And one is you can actually give them an application. As you can imagine, the marketing department would love something like this, where it doesn't require a lot of intervention from IT. You can create a self-service application for them, basically all I had to do at the very top is enter the search term that I wanted. It searched, I hit update, it updates the workbook. Everyone knows how to use Excel. So for instance, if they don't like any of the charts, if you follow few, says pi is bad, you can change that and do any other kind of chart without having to call IT or go to anybody else, that sort of thing. So it's a nice little self-service app. We built this internally, and we're going to release this specific app so you guys can use it. It's a good example of the apps that you can build and deploy within your app, within your organization. I'm not sure about the other demos, whether we're going to release those. You all have a command prompt on your PC. I think the Mac's got one too. So anyway, all seriousness, I want a big round of applause for all the presenters, all the demos.